Alright, hello, class rock bass songs, class rock bass covers, and today's free online bass lesson is going to be the class rock band Grand Funk, and the song is Closer to Home or I'm Your Captain. People call it either or, but I think it's Closer to Home's the title of the song, but it's in parentheses I'm Your Captain. So great song, great bass line, and this guy, if you know who the bassist is, let me know. Leave a comment down below. Let me know who the bassist is. He's phenomenal. He works and he owns just about most of their songs. That bassist is owning it, and like Some Kind of Wonderful, it's all bass. That whole song. It's not nothing intricate or anything, but it's the bass line is owning that whole song. So it's he's somebody to follow and emulate, because he's got some great bass stuff. And it's that class rock guy, so it's kind of just raw. It's not a whole lot of effects going on in there. It's just raw, just solid bass playing. So if you're new here, I'm Donald Witt, the bass instructor of the How to Play Bass online course at iwanttoPlayBass.com. Jump over there, subscribe for free, become a member for free, and get all kinds of good stuff, good information out there, and some other bass lessons, and some bass ritual practices that I have going on in there too. You get for free. So definitely subscribe, and when you're serious about your bass playing, sign up and get well on your way to reaching your bass playing goals. And this is I Want to Play Bass, your YouTube channel for everything bass guitar tips, gear reviews. We've got bass guitar repairs and intonation, and work on everything you need to know about the bass is right here. So definitely subscribe, hit that bell, get in the loop, and don't miss a beat. Now, back to the song. We're covering Grand Funk's Closer to Home or I Am Your Captain, either way. But it just comes in, it's in the key of G, and it just starts on D. The guitarist comes in and he's just strumming some chords. He's got the rhythm going and the melody going, the whole idea of the song going, and then the bass just comes in on D. He does the A, he slides from A to D, okay? Does that twice. Then it comes into the groove. Now the groove is fun. This bass line is working. It's not your standard just root note thing. He's owning it, and he's creating the groove of this song and just keeping the song together. That's what he's doing. So it just goes. So when he starts off the first two times, it's just kind of sparse. It's not a lot of notes. It is a lot of notes, but there's more notes when the verse comes in. He keeps that groove more ticking along a straight eighth note feel. So this is just D, D, G, D, G, F. So it's actually in the key of C. I'm sorry. I said G because of this F sharp in the verses or the chorus. I'm not sure which one's which, but it's this is the beginning. This is like the intro, but I think this is the verse also. So there are lyrics behind it, so I'm thinking this is the verse. So it's a long song, and we're not going to go over the whole song. Just in the middle of that song, it gets kind of boring. He lays back a little bit. There's not a lot going on. So I'm just going to go over the main sections of this song that really work and are fun to play along with. So D, G, D, G, F, E, D, G, F, E, D, C, G, A. Okay, so he just hits a D, D twice here, C, A twice. And then once the vocals start singing, he just hits a D twice in the beginning. More of a legato feel. It's not as groovy. It just kind of lays that line down solidly, just thick through the verse there, that it's just it's not too funky. It's just keeping along, just keeping it solid. Okay, not too funky and too groovy. We're just laying back so the verse can be laid down. So it does that like 8 times or so. I'm not sure how many times, but then it stops, comes out of there, and then just go to the D twice, whole notes, and then it goes, then then it comes back in, the drums come back in, and they stay on that D, but they're just on 1 and 2. You know, it's not like an anticipation or nothing of any beat. It's on the beat. 1, 2, or 1, 3. Can't remember the tempo, how fast it's going, but it's just 1 and 3. It's right on there. It's probably half notes, so it's 1 and 3, 1 and 3. And it does that for a few times, and then it goes into a cool groove, and it begins the chorus. That's groove. And that's why I thought it was in G, because I was thinking I went to that F sharp, but I don't. It's not in there. So you're just going D, and then you do the 1-5 move. So right there's just a D and the A. Okay, D, A, C, and then G to C. Do some licks in there. He does it when they go live. He's just kind of all over the place, but just stay in the key of C. Okay, so that's the chorus part there, and then it stops. It does that at like 16 times. There's vocals in there, there's the chorus part in there, and then it's, I don't even know if it's kind of like a verse 2, you know. It's not really a chorus, it's like the verse. It's like a second verse, it's just like a second verse, okay, like A section, the second part of the A section. It goes into this little, just a break in there, and it's the bass. And then it starts, I would call this section the chorus, but that little break is just going to be D to G sharp, just gives it that little tension there, which is cool. So D to A, G sharp, G, F, D, A, C, B, G, and then it slides up. Just slides up. And then it does the open. Since you're here, and right here is the D and the A, so you can slide up here and just hit the open D and the A. Okay? And just repeat it. But it only repeats it twice. It only does that twice. Goes into the chorus. It's just D, basically D and B. D for like a whole bar, but he's doing, and then B. And then it goes to, so that's just D, you go into D, and then you do the 1-5, the A, using the fifth, the A there. Just a little groovy. And then the B. B to C, then to D. Do that 2 times. And on the 3rd time, and then you go to the F. We're getting ready to go to the F. Just do the F in the octave. changes this here. You can do he does a little lick in there. And that's just going to be D, G, A to D. So it's just the 1/5 in the octave. The fourth, you're using the fourth to slide into that fifth. Okay, so D is D, G, A, D, and then B is B, D sharp, F to B. And then we go back to the F again. And then we go back into the beginning groove. See, it keeps moving there, so you gotta stay on your toes with this. Not something and being a bass player, you've always gotta stay on your toes. You're not like a guitarist. You can sit back and you can actually lay out for a verse. If you forget what's going on, you can lay out. As long as that bass line keeps going, the band is going to be all right. The bass and the drums keep going, it's going to be all right. But if that bass lays out for a minute, it'll lose something. Unless that song's calling for that bass to lay out, then that whole thing it'll fall apart real quick. So you want to keep it going. So don't, if you make a mistake, own it and keep going. Get back where you need to get to real quick, because once that bass falls out, it's rough. It's rough. But that guitarist, he can lay out and whatever, just comping some chords or doing whatever. He's able to, unless he's taking a solo, and even then he can just take us. If he feels like he's uncomfortable in a spot, he can just hit a note and just hang on it. That fits, a note that fits in there. So being a bassist has a lot of responsibility. I mean, people say, oh, it's just 4 strings or 5 strings or 6 strings. Then it's a lot easier. It's not. You've got to own it. You're the foundation. You're the construction. You're the foundation to that. You're the concrete to that whole band, that whole ensemble. So definitely, it's nothing easy about it. Everything's on your shoulders. That whole band and that drummer, you and the drummer, it's all holding on your shoulders. So with this bass line, he keeps moving in there. So like I say, he jumps right back in there. But if you believe it, convince yourself you're great, you do it, because this guy, he did it, and then it becomes, you just want it even more. So you really want more responsibility than needed. So that's a cool thing about being a bassist. So then we come back into that verse part again, verse 1, I'm going to call it. And then when it stops, it just goes to the I think we just go to D, and then he builds up a little octave D here, and then we go right back into verse 2. Okay, so that's it. That right there is Grand Funk, and this is I'm Your Captain, or Closer to Home. So hope you got some value out of that, and hope you enjoyed it. If you did, help me help you. Hit that like button, and I'll catch y'all on the flip-flop in the next video. So bye for now.